Hi Tung Tung, here we go with part two. So we've built the box, and in part two we're going to build this and this shelf, and then part three we'll build the handle. So here we need to think about how this is going to work. How are we going to join these on? So this looks like a relatively thin piece of material, We've got 18mm sidebar parts. But this, how are we going to make it? Well, how are we going to stop it falling down? So basically we've got three options. Either we could put metal brackets underneath here, we could put wooden supports under here, or we could cut a slot into here and the back and slot it in. So I think that would be the best way to do it, and then to have a slot here, here, and at the back for that part as well. So we're going to use a little bit of fusion trickery, and it's all going to work out beautifully well. So the first thing I'm going to draw is, well, it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to draw the middle shelf here. Okay, so let's have a think about how we're going to do that. There are lots of ways it can be done, but I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to start with this surface here. A new sketch there, so it spins round nice and lazily. So I want to have my shelf in this space here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a line. I'll just click here, here, random. Then I'm going to click, escape. Then I'm going to click on the line. I'm going to close this down. I'm going to get my favorite thing, which is midpoint. So on the line, and then this line, and it's moved my line. So this is exactly in the midpoint. So just to show you how impressive it is, I'm going to undo that. Okay, and I'm going to draw my line somewhere clearly nowhere near the middle. Now I'm going to click midpoint, click this line, and it's going to move it to the midpoint. So we know that is right in the middle. Okay, I'm going to do the same here. Just these are guides. You'll see what they're for later, really. I wish I'd made that a bit longer. Let's just undo that. Again, you'll see what they're for in a minute. Okay, now this line, I want to be on the middle here. Boom. So now we know that where these lines cross is the middle of the square. And I've just realised that wasn't very helpful, that this line was a bit too short. So let's just get rid of that. And let's repeat this trick. Don't worry, Tung Tung, we're going to get somewhere. This will make sense to you. So let's make this one a bit longer. And let's employ my favourite trick again, midpoint. Boom. So where these lines cross over, that is the centre of the space we're working with. So I've just assumed that you want your shelf to be halfway up. So centre diameter rectangle. Now I've got the centre there. Then I'm going to pull out. Now I want the height of my material to be 9mm, because I know we've got some 9mm MDF, so that's beautiful. So now it's just a question of how long does it need to be. So I want it to be the whole length of my object, which is 200, and I want it to come 9mm into this end and 9mm into that end. So I need to do 200 minus 9 minus 9, so 200 minus 18, which is any good mathematician, of course, will tell you is 182. But you already knew that. So I'll finish that up. And I'm going to get rid of these lines I don't want, because otherwise that will confuse me later. Beautiful, is that all gone? Yeah, that's all gone. Finish stitch. So now I've got my shelf where I want it to be. So I need a shelf here, and I need grooves for the shelf to run in. So we're going to do a little trick. We're going to select those three parts. I'll do E first for extrude, that'll make this a bit easier. 1, 2, 3. Did you get that? I think I got all 3. Now I'm going to come this way. And can you see what it's doing? That it's actually cutting in. It's cutting into that space. So it's cutting the groove for me. So I just need to make sure I cut it to deep enough. So I want to come 9mm into here. So how far am I going there? I'm 10mm off the edge. So I want to go 141. Minus 141. Minus 141. So that's cutting. So if I now click OK, I've now got those cuts there. So I go back and I switch this shelf back on, this sketch back on, and this time E for extrude. I do new body and I go 141. I remember it's minus 141. And now I've got my shelf, not join, new body. Okay, let's give this some, I think you can actually probably see pretty much what's going on. So now I want to repeat that with my upright. So I'm going to spin that round. And I know this is the midpoint, but I want to find the midpoint here as well. So same new sketch. I'm in the sketch right yet. So draw a line. Force that line to the midpoint. That's moved it too high up a midpoint. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Okay. So let's just draw a rectangle. I'm just going to escape out of that. Let's draw a rectangle that's going to be easier to get rid of. Right. Okay, that's better. So there's a rectangle. So I can now find the midpoint of that rectangle. Stick with me, Tung Tung, it'll all make sense. So now, midpoint, doink, doink. So that's the midpoint, and this is the midpoint. So from there, I can draw the center point rectangle that I actually want. Rectangle, center. So for my center and my center, that's my center. So I'm going to come up, and I know the thickness of it I want is 9. It's 9mm material. And so now we just move my sketch part. I just have to work out the height that I want it to be. So I clearly want it to be just coming up into there and going down to there. So let's make that 95. No, what have I done? Fine, 95. Yeah, that'll be absolutely fine. So now I can clip out all these bits I don't want, and you'll get an idea of what I'm doing. In fact, you're probably ahead of me. You've probably moved on to the next stage. Finish sketch. And do you remember what we did last time? Well, same again. E for extrude. Doink. Doink. Minus. Do you happen to remember what the number was last time? Was it 140? Have we lucked into it? We've lucked into it. Look at that. And then we repeat. Switch that sketch on. E for extrude. Boink. Boink. And we push that back by 140. Now if I switch those sketches off, I think you've got quite a good idea of what's going on there, how the parts all kind of intersect. Oh, something's wrong there. not a join, new body. Yes. Yes. Oh, it actually seems that when I cut into it, I didn't get that cut quite right. So let's go back to here. Edit feature. Oh no, that is right. That's okay. So yeah, that cuts into there beautifully. It just wasn't for some reason showing up. So that I think is pretty much what you want, other than the handle. So I'm going to save this, and then we'll come back for another go at doing our handle.